What's up, everybody? We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, of course, always joined by my co-host, Kaelyn. Kaelyn, what's happening?
Not a lot, except for everything UFC, pretty much.
UFC pay-per-view last night, 281. We had two title fights. Dustin Poirier fought Michael Chandler, which is a fight I wanted to see, but unfortunately didn't get a chance to. Frankie Edgar was on the card. Dan Hooker was on the card. Holy cow, they really brought it out for this pay-per-view. So let's go ahead and get under the way. Let's get it going. How about that? There we go. And
did you mean to say let's get it underway?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had the brain fart as I was speaking, so I was
That's
like,
okay.
Yeah. So it happened last night, and you caught the entire card, from my understanding.
Yeah, I actually spent some money on it.
Yeah.
I did.
You did. I did not.
But if I was going to pay for any fight card, that was the one to get, because I usually go out to watch them, so I do end up paying for it. It's been a while since I've sat at home and paid for it. This was worth it. This was everything I thought it was going to be too.
So what were some of your favorite fights on the card?
Besides the entire main card, pretty much the main card, because and like I was saying earlier, early prelims started off with a finish, and it just kept going and going that way. There were some decisions in there, but man, all the finishes, I'm like, holy crap, man, this is crazy. That Michael Trezano fight right there against Choi was funny, because they had each thrown, I think it was a left hook, caught each other, double knockdown. I think the last one I remember of that happening was Fedor and Matt Mitrione in Bellator that one time. But this was crazy. But that fight was crazy anyway, because they were just exchanging blows
and
over and over. I almost felt like, it's like, hey man, it's okay to block sometimes, But
no, why? Okay. Blocking doesn't get an exciting knockout. Come on.
No, these guys are very exciting though. They are. So that was a really good fight. Yeah. Let's see. Watched the Carolina fight. She did good. This other girl, Silvana, is very tough as well. So this was a very good fight for both of them. Carolina got the decision. As far as unanimous, I don't know if I thought maybe it'd be like a split, but whatever, it's okay. I'm glad she won. I like to see her win. I've watched her for a long time, so I'm happy for her.
Probably what set her over in getting the unanimous.
Yeah.
And she edged her out on striking.
Edged. Yeah.
Like slightly, not by a huge margin.
And I don't know when the judges are counting these takedowns, so yeah, I get it. Sure. But, it goes back and forth. Different judges value takedowns differently, apparently, which I don't think it should be that way. I think there should be a standard, don't you think?
And it used to be more in the favor, like wrestlers like Matt Hughes, just in a prime example, when his fights would go to decision, because he would take down guys at will, it seemed like that really garnered him more favor to get the decision win. And now it doesn't feel like that. It's almost like, well, I'll just pick this guy.
It's depending on the judges, which
yeah, it's really strange.
You have a scoring system for punches, obviously. Why is there not one for every other aspect of the sport in there? Besides finishes, you can get a sub, and then obviously you got a sub. But if you take a person down 5 times and still have somewhat of a stand-up fight, are you going to count those takedowns? I don't know. You should, but I feel like I'm not sure why, for such a big a sport as this, why is that so open-ended like that as far as the judging? I don't know. I think there should be a standard, but whatever. For the most part, they're fine. But sometimes when you just don't know, it's like, well, I don't know. Depends who it is.
Fights where you think so-and-so won, but then they give it to this guy because of he did what? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so whatever. But anyway, she did great. I don't remember the Matt Frivola fight. Don't really remember much about that one. I know Andre Petrosky won that one. Nothing stood out to me on that one, but this next one, Erin Blanchfield versus Molly McCann, was surprising. I don't know. who this Erin Blanchfield is. I never really paid attention to her. We do like Molly McCann. I know that. So there's always a lot of hype going in behind her, which is crazy because they were in New York and they were all chanting for Molly when Erin Blanchfield's like a local over there. So
I was hearing something about that she walked into booze, but then left to cheers.
and left.
Because
Yeah, well, that's how crazy
dub she
fans
pulled
are,
off.
but whatever. But that's okay. Anyway, but she's crazy. She's good at a lot there. So
She's in UFC. She better be.
I know, but especially someone like her size. What is she, like 5'3" or something? I don't remember what it said, but yeah, this one's gonna be one to look out for, which I'm excited. I like when new females are coming up and doing stuff. So but I was just so shocked at how fast Molly McCann went out. Like, it was just like it was over. Her face looked like it was gonna explode with the pressure that Blanchfield was putting on her. But hey, Blanchfield's very, very good at jiu-jitsu, takedowns, and wrestling and all that. So that was pretty cool. I wonder what's going to happen next for her. That'd be interesting.
I'm sure they're going to match her up with somebody, getting her higher up on the rankings.
They need to. I want to see more of that.
Especially with the quick finish in the first. I really feel like we don't hear about that much, at least in the women's division, even though if it was a submission. We never really hear about submissions. Fights usually go the distance or go into the later rounds, and this was in the first.
Yeah, but also against Molly McCann. That's crazy. That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and progress up the card. Dominic Reyes, you had a comment about him.
He just has a string of bad luck, I think, right now. I don't know what happened to him. He was so dominant for a while, and people are arguing that he even won against Jon Jones, which I could see that when that happened. I could definitely see that. But ever since then, it's like, what happened? I don't know. Ryan Spann did very, very good. So that will be interesting to see what's next for him. But I don't know what's going on with Dominic Reyes or what's next for him or what he's thinking. I tried to see what Dana White thought about him when I think a reporter asked about him after, and I don't think he even knew what to say either. So I was like, well, I don't know. Usually when Dana White doesn't like someone, he's like, well, we'll talk. He didn't say anything like that, though, so I don't know.
He's, the kid fights. All right, moving on.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. We haven't talked to him yet.
All right, let's go ahead and progress up the card from the prelims. Now to the main. We had Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
He got the win in the second round at 406.
Right.
Do you remember that fight?
Yeah, so Dan Hooker. So this guy, Claudio, I guess he's known for his leg locks. Leg locks or ankle locks, whatever you want to call it. I don't know jiu-jitsu in and out, but some form of a leg lock that he was just fishing for the entire fight. It looked like he had him in a bit of trouble for a little while, but he got out, and then he constantly tried to roll his way into a leg lock every single time it came to exchanging punches. So you could tell that he didn't want to stand up with him. Dan Hooker is dangerous because of his knees, and he's so long. So it kind of reminded me of Damian Maia and Tyron Woodley, one of their fights where all he did was try to take him down. That was the entire fight. Just like takedown, fail, or attempt to fail. It kind of reminded me of this one because this guy was just fishing for a leg lock the whole time. The ref was having to stand him up over and over and over because Dan Hooker's like, get up, So that was that basically. And then he couldn't handle his punches. So that was that. But that was a very good fight too. It was good for Dan Hooker. So
yeah, he got the win.
Yeah.
Now moving up the card, Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. 201. Looks like Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Well, he won, but
did you see how he won?
I did not.
Okay. And so it was from a knee. Kneed him. He was out immediately. I feel like this has happened to Frankie Edgar before.
Yes.
Didn't he take a brutal knee from somebody and get
He's taken some pretty hard strikes and has been knocked out. Like,
but
and
he
I like
there's a knee that he got caught with a while back that was,
I forgot who, but yeah, I do remember that.
Same shit just happened again. So I'm like, whoa, that guy's poor head has been rocked like that multiple times now. This was his last fight, so he's retired. But
So he said he's done, or
oh no, yeah, this was his last fight. Yeah, this was his last fight in the UFC. He's retiring, and this happened, so it was really, really sad. I'm glad he's not fighting anymore. I don't think he should have been, but he's still great. So
yeah, he's been.
He did not need to take those.
Back.
He didn't need to take those knees, in his late career. He definitely did not need to take those. So I'm glad he's not fighting because I don't see what's left for him. I think he should conserve everything he has now and just move on, which he is.
I agree.
But man, he was so disappointed. I think he cried on his way out. I don't know, but it was.
I would.
Yeah, but man, to get knocked out like that is just crazy. It's so brutal. Ugh, and he's taken that twice, at least, with that knee, anyway. But that was sad. This fight, oh my God, it's exactly what I thought it was going to. I mean, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but this fight, and maybe it's just Michael Chandler because all of his fights happen to be crazy.
He goes out there and just.
He does. I'm just realizing that that's his game plan for everything, which, it's worked for him, but also, you can only take so much damage. Also, this guy looks like his face is going to fall off at the end of the fight. Crazy fight. It
lost by submission. What was the sub?
Oh, I don't know, guillotine or something, I think. I don't remember. Yeah. So this, I don't even know what to say. It was just crazy. I got to watch it again. You need to watch it too, because towards the end is when it, like, all their damages really started to show. And then Poirier threw this crazy punch and just made his nose explode on Michael Chandler. Like, you can see they replayed it really slow where he hit the nose and it's just like, there goes his nose.
I think the craziest thing I've ever seen going back is Kimbo Slice versus James the Colossus Thompson, when they didn't drain James Thompson's ear, so it was full.
Did it pop?
And it popped. Yeah, Kimbo was he saw that target and was like,
oh, and he went for it.
I'm gonna bust that open, and he punched it like a punching bag, and then it popped.
Oh,
and that was on CBS. That was nuts.
Of course it was.
Right.
But also there was some pushback from Dustin Poirier on the ref, because so Michael Chandler had his back. They were on the ground. I think they're up against the cage. Like, his back was against the cage, but Michael Chandler had Poirier's back, had his arms wrapped around him, trying to go for the rear naked choke. And as he was fighting it, and I couldn't really see it because they replayed it, but Poirier was saying that Chandler was trying to fish hook him to get his head up so that he could fit his arm underneath his neck or underneath his chin. But I don't think it was a real fish hook, but I think he had some fingers in there trying to, So he was super pissed at the ref. He was like yelling at the ref that whole time, but then the round went past. So, but yeah, that fight was crazy. It's everything I thought it was going to be, because Michael Chandler is just crazy, I've decided, I guess. And Poirier can also step up to that and beat it. So, I mean, that's good for him.
I have some crazy breaking news that broke while we were doing our podcast. Are you ready?
Okay. That doesn't happen.
2-time UFC title challenger Anthony Rubble Johnson dies at the age of 38.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This literally just broke.
Oh no! What happened?
No! This is following an outpouring about his death. The cause of death has yet to be announced, but this is totally a trip. I saw that. I was like, "Is this real?" I happened to see something on social, and then I finally was able, at least, to confirm it through a legit source, which is MMA Fighting.
Oh gosh! What the fuck happened?
I don't know.
They don't know. They're not saying anything at all, huh?
Well, it literally just came out,
Did
so
it?
I don't even think they know.
God.
So it might be a few days. Yeah.
Well, I'm just like trying to put scenarios in my head. If someone's been in an accident, that usually comes out pretty fast. So I'm thinking something weird happened, or I don't know what his mental state is. We don't,
In October of 2021, Johnson was to fight in the Bellator light heavyweight champion. Was supposed to fight Nemkov as a part of the Grand Prix, but was forced to withdraw from that contest due to an undisclosed illness. And it's undisclosed, so we don't know. But yeah, his fight record was 23-6 with 17 wins coming by way of knockout at TKO. Wow.
This is crazy news.
This is great. It's scary too because like me and him are the same age. It's just a trip.
Yeah, but anyway, like you wouldn't. I thought, I don't know. Yeah, besides the fact that he's super young to die, but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what it was from, but still, still he's gone. Like a guy that we watched for a considerable amount of his career is now gone.
Was he done fighting? I don't remember. I thought he was kind of back in it.
He was supposed to fight October of last year.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it had been a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hadn't really heard anything since then.
Oh.
Really unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened, or I wonder cancer. I don't know.
You never know, like because talking about cancer, Black Panther 2 just came out,
mm-hmm.
and Chadwick Boseman,
that guy
he was in his early 40s and he had cancer.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we don't know. Hopefully, something will be put out at least, so kind of more of an idea of what really happened, and not just he died.
Right, but I mean, if they're talking about an undisclosed illness in his past, maybe that has something.
But that was last year, so who knows?
Like I said, maybe cancer or something that you don't know. That's interesting.
That actually, I had heard about that, and I was going to get to it after we discussed the UFC card last night, but then we had a fan drop a RIP Rubble Johnson, so that's why I was like, all right, I might as well bring it up now. So that was
that's never happened. That's a first.
No, yeah, it's so random. Random. So I work in news.
By the way, I'm glad someone's watching this.
Right.
That's awesome.
I work in news, and so I've seen some random stuff happen, like just random deaths. Back, I want to say I forgot what year exactly because I've been in news for a long time, but you've heard of the professional wrestler Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
When he died, I was at work and I saw it on the feeds that we would get.
Oh, that's how you saw it.
I was like, whoa. No, like it totally blew my mind.
Yeah.
So unfortunately it's death. That's the one thing that's for sure about this life is death.
Oh my gosh.
Anthony Rubble Johnson has passed on at the age of 38.
Jeez, man.
So once we know more, we'll bring it to you guys, but until then, that's all we've got so far. So let's go ahead and return back to the UFC, the card that happened last night.
Well, I feel weird now, but okay.
it's okay. We'll just get back into the groove. Woo. Your favorite Carla Esparza.
My favorite.
Folks, for those of you that don't know, Kaelyn
and no, whatever you're about to say is not true either.
She's not the biggest fan. I don't mind Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Esparza lost her title last night to a submission in the second.
I'm sorry. I had been saying since this fight came about that she was probably going. And I'm sorry about the news. I'm sorry about the news we just heard. I just thought that Carla Esparza would be passing away last night as well in the octagon.
Wow. All right.
Dude, come on.
Well,
you really even the commentators were just like not into this either. You can't there was nothing to say leading up to this fight. Like, well, Carla Esparza is gonna bring it. Like her wrestling, and yeah, she's great at that. But these girls in this division, there's no There's no way that you're going to get past that with just your
They're a bunch
wrestling.
of killers.
Yeah, especially Zhang Weili. She's a monster. So that went the way I thought it was going to go. I didn't know it was going to be a sub though, actually, so that's interesting. But it is what it is. Yeah, so on goes the belt. I'm interested to see what happens next with Zhang Weili or who she's going to fight. And I also don't know what's next for Carla Esparza. What is she thinking? Is she going to try to
fighting or maybe take some time off because she just got married recently, so she might want to take the time.
She got married right after her last fight that she had. I think it was like the next week or whatever from that last one.
But you never know. She might want to take time off to do the family thing. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
You can be like, F it, I want to punch a bitch in the face, so let's get back in there.
Yeah. Gosh, she is so short too. Like whenever I see her against any of the other opponents in that weight class, like she's exceptionally small for that weight class. But yeah, that went the way I thought. Maybe not a sub, but definitely thought the belt was going to Zhang Weili. So
yeah,
that's
and
all
it did.
Good.
You got the W on that. Regained, got the belt, and that was the first title that was up for grabs, and then the main event, which was the second title up for grabs. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. A buddy of mine messaged me pissed because he lost $100 because of Adesanya.
I wouldn't have bet on that fight, man. That is if you know the history of these two, that's not, you don't want to, I wouldn't have bet on this fight either. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that Alex won either. I know a lot of people out there are surprised because maybe they don't even know his history.
They probably, where he came from. I have no clue.
They probably don't, and that's fine. But yeah, I definitely would have bet on that fight, especially knowing that, okay, this is the third loss for Adesanya against this guy. I don't know if anybody else knows that. I mean, I'm sure after
probably not, because
hearing off all the media, they've been saying it. So I don't know, unless you pay attention to their embedded episodes and background history before they
fake news. Fake
news.
I'm just playing.
Sorry, I have a cough right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, this is a third loss to Alex Pereira for Adesanya, and I was just thinking, like, is he gonna want to fight him again? Like, because Alex Pereira came to MMA to fight Adesanya again, and he did it, and now he has his belt.
I'm gonna come here just to beat your ass. That's literally it.
And he did, though. He did. Adesanya was doing great actually in this fight. Also, this was a good fight, but man, he caught him, and Adesanya said something about him hitting some kind of nerve where his leg was not functional for a few seconds or whatever. So that's when I think he started to trip over himself, and he's like, that was, it wasn't because I got hit, is because my leg wasn't working from the previous punch that he had taken. So you stumble for a couple seconds, and that could be it. You get hit, and then all of a sudden here comes the barrage of punches. And of course they're all landing. Pereira has really long limbs, kind of like Adesanya too. But also I was hearing about how much weight this guy gains between weigh-in and the actual fight. It's like 20 something pounds difference. This dude weighs in at, what is it? They're 185, 186, well, 185 for middleweight. He's fighting at 2 something that night. So it's crazy.
Once they hit the weight and then they weigh in, they pack it back on real quick.
Yeah, but especially him too. And I don't know if it's just because he's so experienced and he knows how to do it healthy, I've never, seen the problem with him, but he's also maybe slightly a tiny bit taller than Adesanya, which is crazy, but I think he is. He's a big dude that cuts a lot of weight to make that weight class, but this was like his 4th or 5th fight in MMA, and he has the belt. Took it from Adesanya. Like, it was.
What do you expect?
I can't believe it. And people are saying, like, you have to work yourself up the ladder to even get a title shot.
But I feel like certain fighters get a pass.
They do.
Because, like, they've already fought with Glory, right?
Yes, twice.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if
This
it
is
was
the guy who
Glory.
comes in with already
One of them
a
was.
resume, a combat resume. So I think they give him a certain a certain pass. You still have to test yourself against the best in the world because you're competing in UFC. But you start counting those victories, and all right, here you go. You want it, go get it. And you've already beat the champ before, given it was in Glory, but you've beaten him before.
Yeah, and but also Adesanya called him out, so he wanted that fight, which is cool, which is really cool. I think Adesanya thought it was going to be easier than what it was. Sort of.
Sometimes when I see Adesanya, and I didn't catch the fight. I hadn't even got a chance to catch highlights of the fight. I'm wondering if there's a certain point with Adesanya where he was just like, I'm going to coast.
I don't think he ever coasts. I don't think he has that attitude. But I do think he was very, very confident in calling him out and getting the fight. But then, also have to deal with the fact that he's lost to him twice already, 3 times now. But, it's so much time has gone by. He's gotten into MMA. He's made his legacy in MMA already. And then here comes this guy from his past making his way up. I don't know.
This is Adesanya's Clubber Lang moment.
It's crazy because this guy is just, it's almost like he's there to haunt you forever. He just took everything from you in a very short amount of time.
This should be motivation, even though he has suffered losses at the hands of this guy before. This is, if he really wants to.
And it was so long ago, though. It really was a long time ago when they fought. So they're both
they fought yesterday and he still lost. So
I know. And also, this guy's big. I think he cuts a large amount of weight that's not normal for everybody else. So there's that. He might be a problem for everybody, not just Adesanya. So I think they said they wanted the rematch. I think Adesanya said that last night, but that's, that could change. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know if that fight will happen. I feel like Pereira might fight someone else before that happens. If he wants.
Dana White won't roll out Adesanya getting an immediate rematch versus.
Well, yeah. What else do you do, though? I mean, why not? Is there a reason not to? No. Maybe you should.
I mean, and you said Adesanya was doing well for most of the fight until that point.
Can you imagine Adesanya losing again a 4th time? Like, there's also the risk. Like, do you want to take that risk to lose again to this guy?
What do you fight for?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why not? I don't know.
So, we'll see.
It's crazy to think that someone has his number. This one guy has his number.
This one dude guy, not a ton of people might not necessarily know unless you're a hardcore fight fan, but that's that one guy.
That's it. That one dude has his number, and for the people that didn't know who he was, they were probably like blown out of their minds. Like, what just happened? And
I told you my buddy lost $100 because he took Adesanya, and I was like,
Did he not have a clue at who this guy was?
He's smarter than the average, but I don't think he knew about the Glory fights.
Crazy, yeah, and I don't blame him. You wouldn't unless you do a little bit of research, unless someone's putting it out there for you. But but that's crazy to think that this guy just.
That's it.
He just took his other career.
Thanks for holding that belt for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was that in the way of UFC 281. We have a UFC coming up this coming weekend with Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. Derek Lewis, I'm just going to take Derek Lewis. He's the homie. He's my favorite.
Yeah, of course.
Win or lose, even though he's 26-10. Nobody likes seeing him lose, and he's hella funny.
I know.
Like, have you ever? I mean, you follow him on Instagram, right? He posts the wackiest stuff, and then what's he say? He's okay.
He's okay. He okay.
He's okay. I love it. I love his stuff. So of course I'm going to take him. He is coming off of a loss. Spivak's coming off of a win. This is a chance for him to really get into that heavyweight division picture because he's there, but kind of just floating on the outside. This a win against Derek Lewis will propel him a little bit further.
Yeah.
Until the next one, until he gets even more into the picture. But I will take Lewis on this one.
I will too, but you never know. You never know.
Also on the card, we have Chase Sherman versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Another heavyweight bout. Got some big guys mixing it up.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to click on it and it won't click. So we could just look at it from where it is right there. Were there any other fights that you're curious to see on this card?
Ricky Tercios. I'm always interested in what he's going to do just because I followed him on The Ultimate Fighter when he was on there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that when he competed.
Yeah. And he's good. He's a little wacky. Like his fighting style is a little, it's kind of all over the place, but it works for him, or it has so far. So it's one to watch out for.
So we got the battle of some big dudes on this card, and then later on, more of the lighter weights earlier on. So that's kind of interesting. It progresses from the prelims, which is the early card, which is lightweights, to bigger guys later on in the main events in the regular.
Yeah, which is funny because watching the post-fight press conference, a few of these reporters were just like they wouldn't let it go. They kept asking Dan about the heavyweight division. What's going on with them? What's next for, whoever? Because then the Jon Jones thing came up, and they're like, "When's he fighting? Who's he fighting?" And Dana White said for sure next year, 2023. They don't know exactly when.
They can't pinpoint anything yet.
Yeah. And also they kept bringing up Stipe, but Stipe, they were saying that Stipe said that he may never want to fight again, or whatever. So there's nothing going on there, obviously, right now.
Right at this moment.
Yeah, but of course, there's and I think Dana White wants this fight to happen. Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones. That's always that's one that they were always aiming for, I think. But I don't know.
That's when you're really going to see Jon Jones use his wrestling.
Who knows? I can't even talk about Jon Jones or what he'll do. I haven't seen him fight in so long. I have no idea.
Okay. The only thing, like I've said, he's fighting is the court system right now. With Jon Jones, though, with Ngannou having bricks in his hands,
yeah,
I don't see Jon Jones really trying to challenge him boxing wise. Jon Jones will probably try to use his legs and do more of a kickboxing style, Muay Thai, but he will not stand there and bang with him toe-to-toe boxing because he will get lit up.
But yeah, I agree. I also don't know if Jon Jones even wants that fight. That is not a smart fight for him to do immediately.
Coming back after so long.
Yeah, to do immediately coming back to fight. That's not a smart fight.
No.
I would like them to find somebody else first so that he could fight in his new heavyweight division to even see what he looks like fighting at heavyweight,
Very true. And they do need to give him that test fight, not just throw him out there into the mix like that.
And I think Stipe would have been great, but that's...
Oh, you're right. But that's here nor there, unfortunately, as of now. We do have Bellator coming up this next Friday also. So let's go ahead and get into that. We have Nemkov versus Corey Anderson. Nemkov is the current light heavyweight champ. I'm going to go Nemkov. The dude has shocked me with some of his performances in the past. So I'll just take Nemkov on this.
Oh, man, I think so too. But I love Corey Anderson. So.
Oh, yeah. Same, but I think Nemkov has the grit to outdo him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then we also have Patricky Pitbull, who's the champ, lightweight division, versus Usman Nurmagomedov, who's I believe related to
15-0. He's 15-0 still.
15-0. This is an interesting fight because you have the up and comer who's undefeated coming in, but he's got a hell of a test against Patricky. I'll go Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, that's a test for both guys right there.
Oh yeah, tremendous. But I'll take Nurmagomedov on that one.
You think so?
I think so. I'll give it to the young man coming up.
Okay, I'll pick him too.
I'm glad I talked you into it.
Well, yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got going on in the world of mixed martial arts. Glover Teixeira warns Yuri Prochaska, you cut your hair, you lose your power. So basically, Glover is saying that you're like Samson. Don't cut your hair because that's where your power is. I think it's interesting. I think it's funny because if you've seen Yuri fight, you know that homeboy has like crazy nutty hair.
He does.
So, you know what? I believe that. I believe if he cut his hair, like it would screw the pooch and he would lose the belt.
Yeah. Speaking of Glover Teixeira, he's the one behind Alex Pereira's whole game plan for winning there last night.
That's true. Yeah, that was his.
He was in trouble because the fight was basically even both ways, so it really came down to like that last round, But he gave him his instructions in the corner, and he did exactly what he said and won by doing exactly what he said. And so I don't.
Gee, I wonder how that works. You listen to your coaches and it works.
So now there's 2 belts with that gym. So that's pretty cool. I wonder what's going to happen next for those guys.
Yeah. You listen to your coaches and you win. Get out of town.
Yeah, right? Who knew? Who knew that's what, after all that money you pay your coaches.
Precisely.
Some of these guys.
Also happened earlier this week. We were just using this story to get the story going. This says Dana White happy for Cain Velasquez's bail, hopes real justice gets served. Yes, folks, Cain Velasquez is free on bail. That broke earlier this week, and that's fantastic. A lot of us.
Yeah, but I heard his trial's coming up real soon, though. It's like, man, really, just now?
Still, he's out though. That's what matters. He didn't have to wait. Better than nothing, better than waiting until the trial.
I know, but man, they could have done that. And you know what? It had to do with the judge. As soon as they got a different judge.
Yeah, and the judge also, if I remember correctly, was like, don't make a fool out of me. Like, don't do anything stupid.
That's what the first judge should have said. But
you're right. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely agree. But
especially California.
Let him go. Or not let him go. Like, you could post bail and then you're out until your trial date.
I'm just surprised because California's system is just, let's be honest, it's a little fucked up. But I feel like
system everywhere is fucked up.
It is. But I hear especially, I don't, maybe it's just because of the times now or what's going on, but usually they let guys out,
Usually.
Even murderers, even people that are out there murdering people, they've been letting other people out. It's like, why aren't you letting this guy out? I mean, just for bail, So I think it should have happened a long time ago, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Very true. And that's the thing, like, it sucks, but it finally happened.
Ugh. I just wonder what's going to happen.
That's true. When they go to trial, I would like to see more about the trial. Like,
did you watch that video of his lawyer? What his lawyer was saying? He didn't say much.
I know who his lawyer is because his lawyer is a high-profile lawyer for previous cases. I want to say he defended Scott Peterson, but I don't recall if I'm right on that.
Oh, did he?
I think so. Mark Garagos?
I don't remember the name of his lawyer.
Yeah, I think he did. I could be wrong, but he's defended some high-profile people. So,
and look at Scott Peterson now.
He's still in prison, thank God.
Well,
but he's not on death row anymore. He's not on death row.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, good for him. No, that's fucked up.
But no, I sent a video on his lawyer had a little press conference or whatever. But after, I don't know if you watched it, but I watched it, and he was hinting at like, oh, just wait, until the trial. We're gonna have a lot of information come out. And it's like, well, I wonder what it is, because they're so confident. Yeah. He's going in there not guilty, his plea to not guilty. So I wonder what they have, because it's a pretty ballsy move. Will be
very interesting to see.
It's a ballsy move to go in there not guilty for a murder charge. So I don't know.
I feel like that's a generic for some people. There's people here that are on, here in the Central Valley for us in Central California that have murdered someone or been arrested for murder, innocent until proven guilty. And it's pretty obvious that they did it.
Right.
But they still plead not guilty.
It's just, I wonder, there's a lot of things that go into play when deciding whether to plead guilty or not guilty, just depending on your evidence that you're going to bring. Yeah. But then again, you are still trusting 12 people with your life.
You see the same thing
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I've watched some crazy court trials, and like the decisions that come out of there are just like so wacky. It's like, I don't know. Depending on what side you're on, I don't know. You know what's crazy? This has nothing to do with MMA, but since we're talking about court cases, just is the reason why I think like you never know what's going to happen. I watched the Parkland school shooter trial. It happened. It's been going on forever, but it just ended a while ago.
Yeah, the shooter died. Are you talking about the one with Alex Jones?
No. The Parkland school shooter. He's still alive.
Oh, that's Sandy Hook. I'm sorry.
No, that is Sandy Hook. Yeah, but this one happened in Florida. This guy shot up at high school. It was high school.
I recall.
I think there was like 17 kids that died. But so the trial wasn't guilty or not guilty. The trial was whether he got a death sentence or not.
Well, it was sentencing.
It was just a penalty phase trial is what it was. So basically the jury is going to pick, whether you get sentenced to death or life in prison without parole. And they gave him life in prison without parole instead of the death penalty, which was really crazy considering the whole case. And if anything deserved a death penalty, you would think it would be this, but it went the other way. So that's what I'm saying.
That's what gets me is a lot of court cases now, they have the death penalty available to them, but then the people that are getting the death penalty will also fight it and fight it and fight it.
I mean, as far, that's a whole other story of what actually happens after, but as far as sentencing and jury decisions, it's like, I don't know. I felt weird about that one, but you never know what's going to happen. So I don't know what they would choose for Cain if the whole trial, I don't know what kind of evidence is going to be brought. And I don't think we get to know either. I think it's I don't know. They don't televise federal cases, but this is a state. This is California.
Yeah, it should be more state than anything. So hopefully,
I wonder if they'll have cameras. That would be interesting.
It depends because this is a high profile situation.
It is.
I think they would have cameras. Yeah. It's funny though. It's weird because we do cover court cases quite a bit where I work at, and they're like, oh, you can't show the guy's face. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Is that why they have sketches, those really weird sketches?
The sketches are for the federal. So you see them for the federal cases. But like local guys like this, there was there was a group of guys that went and shot up a football party, and the people they arrested, one of them can't find a lawyer right now. Like he's having a hard time getting a lawyer.
Oh, no one wants to represent him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there are some cases we've had where we're not allowed to show his face, the person's face, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Is this going to ruin his prospects of getting a job when he gets out?
No, I think it has to do with not messing up the trial.
No, I'm being sarcastic completely.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I think there's a lot of reasons why, but yeah.
Anyways, that's that.
Yeah.
With Cain, I am very interested to see what comes out. His lawyer making a bold statement like that. Well,
I also had information wrong. I thought, and the story is now, I don't know, people are saying that his daughter had those things happen to her, but I guess it's his son that it happened to.
Oh, wow.
So it's his boy that happened to. So that's, I mean, it's all bad.
Regardless.
Twist.
Boy or girl, it's still bad.
I just think it made it a lot worse, actually, because I don't know. It's all bad. So I can't really say, but.
So we will definitely find out what happens when the trial begins, which don't know when it begins, but
I think it's in here in the November. When I saw that he got let on bail, I'm like, oh, he's got a while. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, he doesn't. That's bullshit.
Well, we'll find out. We'll definitely be hearing about it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just glad that network is covering it now. They didn't cover it before. The one I sent you the link to, the Law and Crime, that's where I watch all my other stuff. Finally, they have it on there. I'm like, why was this not on here a long time ago? So I'll definitely hear about updates if it goes on there. That's for sure.
All right. Well, we look forward to your reporting on the court cases.
My shitty reporting on stuff I don't know that much about. Okay.
Y'all, so check it out, right? Bail. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, we're past that. All right. Yeah. And then if you're in the Central Valley this weekend, there's some fights going down on the 19th, which is next Saturday. 559 fights. I plan on being in attendance. Kaelyn will probably be in attendance with me. We'll be watching the fights. covering them, enjoying them, because 5 9 Fights puts on a hell of a card, and it's going to be at the live at the Visalia Convention Center on the 19th. So if you're in the Central California area, come check it out. Definitely check it out. It's a good time. That's actually where we first finally met face to face after COVID. We got to meet there.
We've been talking.
COVID's still there, but we've been doing the podcast since COVID had hit, and we never met until we finally got to meet each other.
Or was it even before COVID? Did we start this even before COVID?
I think it was like right before COVID.
Yeah.
And then we talked about doing like shows together live.
Yeah.
And it never happened because then boom, COVID.
Yeah. So it just kind of just stayed the same. But let's see, it's gonna be almost 2023. We've been doing this for like 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
It's been a while, right?
A long while. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be there live at the fights, checking them out. Hopefully we can get an interview following the next day. Maybe. I'm hoping. I'm going to effort that as hard as I can while I'm there. And so I look forward to that. Also, I won this shirt. I won a contest on Instagram. And I won the shirt. And it's the Nintendo style. But
I like that shirt. It's a nice shirt.
I won it. I was like, yeah. And that was, let me give a quick plug to them because they were very nice to let me be involved in the contest and win. It's from Nerdy Jiu-Jitsu Apparel on Instagram.
That's pretty cool.
They're going to be dropping some stuff soon, so go check them out. I plan on it because I'm a nerd. I'm a huge nerd, and I do enjoy jiu-jitsu, so why not? Is there anything else we got going on that I may have missed?
No.
Right.
I don't think so.
You know what? That's going to do it for us here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.